We're talking with Darin Olien, who is the producer and an absolutely extraordinary, fundamental builder of society. This is going to be a great talk. If you guys can do me a favor in the comments, put down where you're from, put down how you're feeling today. And we're waiting for Darin to pop on up. This is going to be a really fantastic talk. So I got introduced to Darin through Jules, who you guys know, who is doing Fashion Maneuvers, Jules Horn. And more importantly, Jules and Darin are friends, but Darin did the documentary with Zac Efron that you see on Netflix. Today we're going to be talking about some of that stuff. So get your questions ready. We're going to be talking about chemicals. We're going to be talking about the environment. We're going to be talking about health systems. So we're waiting on him right now. Darin. Hey, Darin.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, I just gonna say I'm looking through the top of your yurt, right?
Yeah.
So Darin, I mean, probably everybody knows you, but just to introduce people right now, just a little bit of a background.
Yeah, I spent better part of 20 years in the nutrition space, still obviously in it. 15 years was traveling around the world looking for botanicals and around the world indigenously, and then formulating some products, and those did quite well. I guess, and through that whole journey, I have a background in physiology and nutrition. In university, have a master's in psychology, and I guess through the traveling of about 30 to 35 countries, it opened up my eyes to the environment, and so I got involved with some clean energy technologies and some developments into that. And then it started the down to earth journey, right? So the Down to Earth show with Zac Efron came innocently by way of I just kind of written down an idea of a show, and Zac had reached out to me for other reasons, and it just so happened that we aligned on a show that meant a lot for people in the world, and so we talked about everything from how to help people to extraordinary people developing some good things in the world. And currently I'm developing another show that has similar aspects of it, and I love that medium, and also kind of getting back into the nutrition space. But I'm super stoked to be here. I love what you're doing. Back in the day, we talked a little bit the first time. Back in the day, I was doing I got training in neuromuscular therapy, and also through Feldenkrais and Alexander techniques, and got that first understandings of fascia, right? And hanging on things in the body. And so I knew about it. I knew of this kind of surface of the body that not a lot of people were acknowledging, and still kind of not really doing much about. So when I saw your work, I was like, wow. And then I started doing the work, and a big shout out to Jules for
Who's on here?
Yeah, so coming to the beach and taking me through it. And there's one thing of doing it, and I do it every day now because now I'm kind of hooked to it. So I do a few moves that I remember. But when you have someone with you,
yeah,
to take to those other places, and this is the discussion, there's so many layers going on, pun intended,
yeah,
right? For not body, but also the storage center of emotions and physiological trauma and whatever it is. And so I think what you're doing, dude, is like so extraordinary. And what just struck me right away when we talked, and what also Jules shared, is the self-application that you can apply to yourself to put your body in a better position to heal. And that is true throughout every modality that truly works, right? So if you put your body into that space and that place of healing, the body knows how to do that, right? So anyway, that's a little bit of the background, but I just, I'm a big proponent of people kind of having sovereignty over their body.
And that's what it was for me, because my journey, as you know, I was in pain for many years, became a practitioner, resolved my pain through work, or having being worked on. But then when the pandemic came, found that I was still in pain. And so, and what was crazy, Darren, is I used to, go in the morning and get adjusted by my chiropractors, doctors, or get a massage, or worked on by one of my motion mechanics. And then if I needed it in the afternoon, I felt guilty going and asking, because I would be like, cause I was saying to them that their work wasn't good enough, but I just needed a lot of it. And I felt helpless when I had to ask other people for help. And what I love about what you've been doing, and I'm so excited about getting to work with you. And I'm so excited about coming down there and first of all, doing our podcast together, because we're gonna have a really good talk. But you've been doing this a long time. You've been in this space for a long time, and you have been radically different than most people, I would say. Um, I mean, all the way down to what you're doing exactly currently at this moment. Like, you're living in a yurt there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's way cool, first of all. And but you've turned this corner to dedicate your life to getting information to people so that they can make better decisions, I guess, and take their own sovereignty back in their health. And like, what's driven that for you? Like, what is it? What was the turning point? What's made that come out of you?
I mean, honestly, a lot of work, right? A lot of like stopping and listening and going in, but I think and listening to the voice that I think has no other voice between you and spirit, right? And that's one of the things that mentors along the way. I've had many teachers, from physiologists to shamans to Native Americans to you name it. But the ones that always rose to the top was realizing that I am not, to your point too, right? You became, a dependence for other people, you to get out of your thing, you depended on others. And once there becomes something that's, now listen, we need tools along the way.
Yes.
And we need each other and we need community. So I'm not saying that, but if there's a thing in the way of you actualizing your life, then that is something that has to be adjusted eventually so that it becomes attuned. And so, my journey goes all the way back. I've had, I wasn't supposed to live. I was premature. It set a programming inside of me that was like, life is dangerous. Your body is weak. So that programming had me, study physiology, study nutrition, overcome injuries, jump into these places because I was feeling weak. I was struggling with things. So the journey was always a self journey. And upon that, as you can attest, once you kind of liberate yourself, and we're always seeking to self-actualize, so there's many different ways that continues to unfold, but getting to a place where I'm like, nothing really matters. You have to take care of yourself, you have to make sure you can pay your bills and all that stuff, but nothing really matters if I am doing something that's not serving of people and the planet and the animals and the movement in the right way of nature. I'm just not interested.
Right.
And so all of that information from super early coming into this world, being 3.5 pounds, that set a course for me to overcome my own challenges, and then always self-serving in a good way to then extrapolate that to help other people. And that's, you know, it serves its way in the TV shows that I love to do and the podcast, and really trying and serves this conversation, right? And your ethos is this, to serve people so that we can have the sovereignty inside our bodies again. Because man, we're just, you know, if we continue down these roads and these chemicals and you know, sitting in seats all day, staring at screens and crunched down and not connected and you know, algorithmically ripped apart from each other, it's just, we already know it's destroying the fabric of humanity. So as all of those things, we can come together and celebrate life and create this super life and develop ways that inherently I think we know, right? So when I saw your stuff, I knew. I had a little training, so I understood also a little bit, but I knew. And the millions of people that you're affecting, they know it.
Yeah.
And they also, the freedom, some of your videos are so amazing because the freedom they don't want to hold on to pain, shame, anger, sadness, fear. You don't want to consciously do that, but also we have not learned, or we've unlearned to learn back again the ways to release ourselves from this kind of siloed effect of life. Like, I just got to deal with this myself. I got to figure this out. And you think you're wrong, and your shame cycle and all of these things. So, you know, it's really the fabric of that. You and I are doing the same thing. It just looks differently. So
Yeah. So you're doing a new movie right now.
yeah, we're in development. So there's a lot of twists and turns, but we hope to be filming in September.
And what is that one about?
Well, I can't give too much at this point, but it's there's a lot involved.
For you on the spot.
Yeah, there's a lot of countries involved. There's a female spin to it, which is so fantastic. And we've got some extraordinary, you know, support of countries that are opening up the aspects of what they're doing in the world. So it's really, the show is to highlight, you know, what works, what are some of the struggles, how do we overcome them, the demonstration of how that is happening, and then have a blast doing it, right?
Yeah,
And
I mean
celebrate.
that's the fun part is because first of all, when I watched your movie with the documentary with Zac, I was there with you. That was the whole point. Is I really felt like I mean, one of the things that stuck out the most was when you guys were cooking in the organic in Iceland, and the cooking inside the asphalt,
Yeah,
or the organic ash.
lava sand.
Yeah.
Mother,
I mean,
mother cooking our food.
yeah. By the way, we're gonna be heading back after a couple more stops here in Europe, and Aisha was like, "Hey, you know that we could stop there. It's easier."
You should. As long as that volcano doesn't blow up, you'll be good.
So, so you've been able to see a whole bunch of different countries and a whole bunch of different things out there. Which most people haven't. Most people have barely been out of the United States or out of their home country. They've been to one or two different places, but at Extreme, you've seen it, you've seen culture. If you were to consolidate a vision of what's happening in the world today from all the places you've been, like what would you say is the world's facing? What are the problems that we're dealing with?
Oh my God. Well, I think the fabric of society, I think a few percentage of people are getting the dominance in what's going on in the world. I think most people in the world, call it any continent you want to kind of plop on, there's great people. I think the majority of the people in the world are great, and they're good, and they want their communities and themselves to thrive. So that's what I think we've lost through over information and over algorithms and social media and all of this, we've lost the connectivity of how great people are, how good people are. And it is easy to point at corporations and governments and all of that stuff, and they are doing some shitty things. And at the same time, the human family, I believe, at its core, with the numbers, always want good things for themselves, for their family, and for the communities at large. So I think we've lost a bit of that. And, you know, again, without getting all political on it and everything too, it's like we have solutions. We have them. We have ways to create water, food, whole food, uh, healthy shelter, shelter for everybody, clean water, and we can eliminate waste. We have all of this, and I'm not exaggerating. I know it firsthand. I know of technologies that can do this stuff. So then I kind of turn back and I say, like, listen, why is it that 2 billion people on the planet don't have access to clean water, and largely have never even seen clean water? Why is that?
Yeah.
Why is you don't have any food sovereignty almost in every country, right? Why is that? Why have we failed so miserably at creating chemicalized products, chemicalized food, and we know the elephant in the room is we're destroying ourselves, right? And it's not individually our fault. We've been manipulated. We've born into this society. So I look at things like, and I don't look at them anymore as I'm bummed about it.
Right.
I look as what I first said. We have solutions.
Mm-hmm.
My whole path forward for the rest of my life is dedicated to both individual solutions and global solutions and community solutions and all of these things. Because I know, I've seen with my own two eyes ways of countries that we're working with, from Japan to New Zealand to the UK. We're moving in ways that people under the radar of a lot of things, where we have clean energy, truly clean energy that we can deploy around the world. And then that opens up, you know, clean energy power opens up the world of possibilities of many different industries, many different clean water technologies, like all of this stuff. So I say all of that, and I know companies creating different chemicals that are not chemicals anymore, but are derived from algae-based materials that are working at scale to get rid of PFAS and stuff like that. So I am lucky to be able to see, and I also know really good friends in the top of the food chain working with the biggest companies on the planet that have already committed today to regenerative agriculture. It's happening. So when I say it's so easy to look around and go, we're fucked, right?
Yeah.
But it's not true, and it's also our perspective. So if we align ourselves, you and I, your community, my community, the communities at large, if we align ourselves, we always have the numbers. We have the solutions. We can do this. So I think that's lost within this kind of gross media side of things.
Right.
I think it's archaic. I think that mainstream media is a bunch of shit. I think even social media largely is a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Other than because we're not highlighting these things. I have a problem with the UN. I have a problem with organizations that create a bunch of goals and have never achieved them. Like, but I'm not saying that there's not great people. I've met great people within these organizations. So I'm not flippantly saying like it doesn't exist that way. Like there's great companies within organizations. There's great people within these organizations trying to do the right thing. So I think we have the freaking solutions, and we will get there. And you know, so if we set our mark for ways that we all can ourselves be happier, be sovereign, and expand that to our communities, our governments, other countries, then let's give it a go. I've set goals that are beyond my lifetime, and it feels good to do that. Going, wow, that's the legacy. That's the kind of legacy I'm going to set goals that I'd like to see them happen, but I probably won't. So let's give that a go.
So,
You know,
Darren, if you were in countries around the world, who's really doing it right, and then who's really doing it wrong right now?
well, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to answer that, because some countries are being handcuffed politically, economically. You
Sure.
have the amazing continent of Africa. There's
Yeah.
probably, from a resource perspective, the richest
Right.
continent on the
Yeah.
planet, and is
Yeah.
being strangled, right? You could maybe make a pretty good argument with India
Yeah.
as well, you know. So you have that, which is a whole nother conversation. But then you have places like Denmark, who, growing a lot of food, having honesty boxes where you can drive down the street and put your money in a box and take the potatoes, take the tomatoes. Like there's community things within a lot of these countries, and a lot of the stuff we're going to be getting into in the next show. You've got Finland, rated from many different aspects as the happiest country on the planet. And there's a lot of reasons for that. They also employ more women. They have more equality with wages with women. So there's all of these little things that when you start adding them up and you act from a common sense equality position, it makes everyone happier. But there's many different aspects. I've been to Bhutan. That place is in the middle of the Himalayas. It's on the highest mountaintops on the planet. They govern their country by gross national happiness. They make decisions on how it's going to affect the community, how this decision is going to affect the environment, how this is going to affect society, how is this going to affect culture. They look from a broader view. United States, industrialization, Western world, they look myopically, horribly at one, the gross domestic product, the profit-centered mentality. So that is destructive by nature, because you've divorced yourself of the natural principles of nature.
How is the United States doing in the whole? If you took a look at a whole and said operating in their highest good, operating not in their highest good, where does the United States and Canada sit?
Yeah, it depends. There's a lot of different markers, but the U.S., I mean, you can look at from a health perspective. We're one of the worst. We take more drugs than any country on the planet. We still advertise them, and we just drug our people, so we're not even remotely close to healthy, and yet people still adopt, some sort of weird frame of reference of our lifestyle. And happiness is just, in the toilet. We're hundreds of positions away from number one, right?
So I think what you said was interesting. Gross domestic happiness. That's interesting because you're right. There are a lot of markers, and this is part of why So what my experience was in doing fascial maneuvers, and I believe that fascial maneuvers is just a gateway to a way of thinking about the human body. It's sovereign. It's self-replicating. Anybody can do it. You don't have to. There's no mastery involved. It works even if you just do it the first time. But what I've noticed is that when it reduces stress like 75 to 90% in the first 7 to 10 minutes, and when we do that multiple times, we get serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, testosterone, estrogen, estradiol, all the good hormones that allow us to see opportunities. And what my experience is, when I feel good inside my body long enough, I want other people to feel good. When I feel shitty in my body, I want other people to feel shitty. And that's what I've been seeing a lot of in the world. And what I've been seeing lately is, and this is why I was going to ask you this, is that people in these other countries where they have gross domestic happiness, the people are they're measuring the happiness, really, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, they're measuring it they're measuring it from 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 not only the people perspective, but how are these decisions affecting our entire country,
Right.
right? So they're taking not just the economic gain, a profit-centered gain. They're looking at it from how is this. That's why Bhutan, for example, also Finland, has a 65% of some of the cities have natural environment. Bhutan protects 65 to 70% of the land. They don't touch, they don't develop, they keep it wild. So you're looking at those balances, and I just, to your point of the fascial release, imagine just if you look at it from a stress perspective, you're releasing these stress patterns in the body, and then it's opening up space for as you know more than anyone, the fluid exchange and the release of these pent up toxins and cortisol, positions. And so, to your point, if you are unhappy, if you are sick, that's all you can't see farther than that. We all know when you get sick, there's no other focus. You're not thinking about your dreams. You're just like, I gotta feel better tomorrow. Like,
Right. Yeah.
so imagine then if we have only two, and this is true by the Mayo Clinic, only 2.7% of the people in the United States are actually deemed healthy.
Yeah.
2.7, not 27, 2.7. So imagine if you have a bunch of sick people who are not feeling all that great, and you're not talking necessarily acute, but there's a lot of low grade sickness that's developing into more and more and more. How are they inspired to have more, be more of service? They're not, right?
Right.
So just like you, people don't even. How many times have you asked somebody, "Hey, how you doing?" They're like, "I'm good," and then you work on them, and then you bring them to a new spot, and they're like, "Holy shit, I feel amazing."
Yeah.
Their set point was like so low that it didn't even occur to them that they could feel better.
Yeah.
And then when you work on them, you release all of this pent up whatever, and all of a sudden they're in a new perspective. They're on a new vista. They're able to see differently and feel differently. Now, to your point, that person goes, holy shit, if that's possible, what else is possible? What else can I do and be and have and create? That's what, when you and I first spoke, that's the foundation that I want to continue to build upon.
Mm-hmm.
I want to build upon a new ways, kind of new old ways of being, right? And real practical things that people can do to better their lives. And because it's so important. And if we don't move out of this paralysis of everything's okay, I don't know, man. I don't want to just exist. I don't want to just show up. I want to have a great life, and I want others to have it because we share it. So that's my focus.
Yeah, I think I've been saying for a long time, when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, society or humans in society change. I mean, some of us want to change earlier, and that's what we're doing. But the pain of staying the same is hitting a peak right now, and people are at an all-time diseases in all over the world is at its peak in every mental, physical, emotional capacity, and we there's this turning point coming, and I think it's really important. I feel it's really important that these conversations, even the ones that we're having, because the people who live in their lives in these is very myopic. They're told what to think about their world. The media, the social media, it's regular. Like I noticed recently that when we're looking looking at comments, even on our own posts. Two of us look at the comments, identical comments, supposedly, but we're reading different comments, meaning that the algorithms are serving up different versions of those comments to meet our needs. And that yeah, so I mean, it used to be the comments that you could go and find the truth, but even now the comments you can't quite find it. That means that if I don't travel the world like you're doing or like I'm doing right now, there's no way to really grasp what's going on. And we're on this journey right now. We're stop five. Five is for those of you guys who are number folk. That's for Gemini. We're in Gemini. And by the way, today is a Grandmaster Gemini day. It's the most powerful day to think of both sides and communicate in 26,000 years.
Wow.
And it just happens to be that we're talking online right now. So
Nice.
basically, whatever we put in our words today in action is going to reverberate in the universe and has a force behind it, the one that you can't stop.
Let's
And
go.
and
Hey,
so
so what's your world vision? What would you love to see from the work that you're doing? What would you see? What would you love to have happen? Because that's where I think you and I are, you know, we're swinging for something and we're standing for something. We want others to join. What's your vision that you want to see in the world?
so like mechanically, this time next year there'll be 250 million people practicing fascia maneuvers. That's actually on track in some form or shape. That means, and we'll have over 50 million practitioners implementing it. That's on track to happen because of the scale at which it's growing. But that's just a catalyst, because I believe that what I've observed is when people come out of stress, they make different decisions. They treat their bodies better, their lives better. They clean up their lives. They clean up their relationships. So I believe that we're impacting 1 billion people within 2 years, and what I see out of the world is I see this rise of communications and opportunities in businesses and sharing and exposing, which are open source, which you and I are both working on. And I see a world where there's been a world that's going to destroy itself, and that's not going to go away. There's a world that's going to fight over right and wrong, red versus blue, black versus white, color. They're going to continue to fight. And I see a world on a third world, which we start to collaborate, technology, we bring health and wellness and beauty back to the world. And I see the other two worlds existing for some time. I don't think that they can see us. I don't think that the ones that are destroying themselves can see the ones that are fighting. I don't think the ones that are fighting can see where we're going, because I talk to people and it's like they're not there and they don't see me. But I do believe that, and I can see both of them, which makes it all confusing. So I see the world splitting, and there's a part of us that says I no longer want to fight. So I'm no longer fighting. What I'm doing is I'm having a good time like you. I'm seeing the world. I'm helping people. I'm doing what I love, and I'm sharing it with people.
Dude, I love that. We share that. And I think that's absolutely accurate. I think it's happening right in front of us.
You know, what I like, because you're not just making movies. You're working on healthcare systems that actually help people. I mean, are you talking about any of that publicly yet? The recognition
Yeah.
and aligning help based upon people's needs.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I haven't been. I mean, I maybe have hinted at it, but I haven't fully. I mean, I'm building the platform right now, and I'm working out ways to scale individuality
Yeah.
from a health perspective. And there's a few pillars to that. So how do you, where is someone at? So the intake of information, and then the creation of a path forward for that individual. And then we have some very interesting technologies that will be kind of a part two, that can pick up deficiencies in the body extremely accurately and in real time. And then we have some that might be in part one, actually, that we have some brain entrainment stuff that is not a flippant, it's a flippant word. Most of what you see on the market doesn't have any science to back it up. So this group, we have about $40 million of real brain frequency entrainment that's so powerful that you don't have to do anything but let your brain go to its natural state. And the same thing with you, these guys that I was talking to, it's like he's like, it's amazing when you put the brain, shut off the amygdala, put the brain in a healing state, it starts healing the body. like
Yeah.
so these kinds of things, and I'm going to rebrand it. I mean, shit, now I'm publicly talking about it, but I'm going to rebrand everything to Super Life with Darin Olien, and just align everything. And again, a lot of the goals that I have within this platform are huge, and they're going to exist beyond me. So this is my little goal.
Yeah, it's a big goal, and this is why I'm really excited because, part of our journey is to give people tools to help themselves, and one of the tools to help themselves is a series of movements. The other one is starting to identify everything from nutrition to tonics and things that resonate with their current state of awareness, because people are trapped in belief systems, which are diets and supplements that may work right now but don't work in 3 months, and to have the real-time feedback to be able to monitor and change and adapt is what you're doing.
Huge,
Yeah.
huge. Yeah, so stoked. I'm really excited to bring up Bart, and then these kinds of things, like having, working together, you doing your thing, me doing, and our communities absolutely getting benefits from all of it. It's not siloed stuff. This stuff is, we need to unify and touch where we touch and support each other, because separation is just, it's a form of death. So coming together with great people, and like you said, I mean, you have to, like, I certainly attuned my radar to people that are going towards a better existence, and letting go of people that listen, to no fault, to no judgment, they're just not, they're not attuned to it, and that's okay. But there's some extraordinary people that are, and the tribes are coming together.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I mean, it's funny because I've been watching you from afar for a long time, and there's a certain group of people that I want to meet, I want to get together with, I want to work with. And today I don't even have to do anything. Everybody just shows up. But like you said, the tribes are coming together. We're starting to show up. We're starting to find ways to support and help each other. And what the coolest part is that we've been able to find a market, a voice where people want to hear us in real time. And we're expanding that voice. And Jules is a part of it. But and we're literally creating television, the new television, and we're going from 40 million contacts a month to 100 million contacts a month in the next 3 months, and that gives us the power to start taking and amplifying things that we want to, and getting messages across. Because at the end of the day, what you're doing and what we're doing is spearheading a message, and people then need a way to connect with that message. And again, you have products, you have technologies that allows people to integrate, because there's a lot of people out there that just to drive a message, and a message usually is of question, but there's no answer, and you have answers, which is super cool.
Yeah, try, that's the key, right? It's like, it's, yeah, and at the same time, I'm like always being open to answers, always being open to, like, I think the greatest thing is when you set the course, you don't know what's going to show up sometimes, but you have to set it
Yeah.
to the degree get your head around it and then go for it. And then I love when when you're on your path and all of a sudden something out of nowhere shows up because it's resonating with that, and then all of a sudden it blows you away. So that's the exciting. I want people to realize that no matter what your dreams are, when you set your course on your dream and take the action, you don't know what's going to show up, and some resistance might show up too, but that's a unresolved superpower, right?
Yeah.
So that's the muscle to work. All of us have it to practice, and I just have done it a few times, and some of it works, some of it doesn't, but I always learn, and then I always get back up and try to kick some more ass.
So we're on this tour. We're going to be 1 year on the road. We're only on step 5. I don't know how many stops there's going to be. I have a feeling there's 20 more stops somewhere in there, 21 more stops. So along that way, I'm going to merge with you so that we can spend some time together.
Yeah,
And because I really believe that after September, between September 1st and December 18th, it's going to be a little ugly in the world. I feel it's the last reach of power for power's sake, but it's the last time it happens in our lifetime. And I think solutions come after that. And right now, the world, especially coming into after the summer, coming into the fall, the world's going to need a voice of hope and reason. And I see you as a voice of hope and reason, and I wanna be shoulder to shoulder with you as we're going through this.
thank you. I would be honored. Let's go.
Listen, I'm looking forward to doing the podcast with you. I have some. I want to go down some rabbit holes, some deep rabbit holes. Yeah, there's only so much that you can do on live, but on a podcast we can get deep.
Yeah, this is
And
a good teaser. We'll be able to get into a lot.
yeah. I'll be reaching out. We'll be coordinating to get together. If by the way, if any of the tour stops you want to come on and get on stage and talk a little bit about your mission and what you're doing too, yeah, just it's an open invitation. So we always have space for that. Our stages are getting bigger. They're getting into the thousands. And by the end of the year, we'll be seeing 5 to 10,000 people at a show.
I love it. Yeah, let's we'll figure out schedules and calendars, and let's make something happen.
Appreciate you so much, Darren.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Cheers.
Bye bye. Guys, if you haven't seen it, go to Netflix, watch the documentary Down to Earth, and there's a series of things coming up. So follow Darren. You can go back and follow him directly. And also, if you are anywhere near Dublin, and if you have somebody near Dublin, we sold out of the facility. We got a new facility. If you were waiting to find out where the facility was, sorry, we were waiting to find out as well. And but we have it now. It's a convention center. There's 2 of them downtown. They're minutes apart from each other. And we are opening up for some more tickets. So if you know anybody in Dublin, if you can get to Dublin, come. This one is going to be fantastic. The name of the documentary on Netflix is Down to Earth. And the other one is hold on. Well, my brain just went. Okay. While I'm grabbing it,
Let them be naked.
Oh, let them be naked. So, any new dates in the USA? We are announcing California, Southern California, on September 21st, and we'll be down there doing media and podcasts for 2 weeks. We are contemplating and looking at a Florida date for all you Floridians. The Florida date would be after that, would probably be the weekend after that. or 2 weekends after that, it would be like the 29th, 28th, or 28th or 29th. We haven't announced it yet, but then we're going to be back over. It looks like we're going to do London, Germany, and then over to Australia. Again, we are going to be announcing it. If you haven't done it yet, sign up for our world tour updates. And also, we are going to be in Toronto. Yes, so those dates are open.
August 24th.
August 24th. And the date in Dublin, the date in Dublin is 2 days from now. It is
At the Royal Convention Center.
22nd, Royal Convention Center at the 22nd. So yeah, we are in Dublin. If you're anywhere around here or you know anybody around here, there's still tickets. Get it up. These events are insane energy. Yes, Dublin is coming up here, June 22nd. 15th is already gone. And Malta. No, we don't know where in Florida yet, guys. Sorry, we're just starting the conversation. There's been so many people ask. We're working on it right now. Not coming back to Palm Springs. See you Saturday. Yes, looking forward to. Hey, Miriam. See you in Dublin. Yes, we're going to be there. It's going to be great. London, working on it. But that's going to be after. That's going to be in the October range. France, I don't know, man. Holland's a maybe. Again, we're still looking. So if you haven't done it yet, go to our tour page and sign up for it. And also, again, I will be coming live with Ask Garry Anything on Wednesdays still, even while we're traveling. So this is nighttime, you can see, but it's 9, almost 10 o'clock at nighttime, and it is my anti-birthday. So it's 29-degree Gemini. I'm a 29-degree Sag. So this is my anti-birthday. So say happy anti-birthday to me. Yeah. And it's going to be fun, guys. I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming up. The world is exploding right now, our world. Darin Olien. And you can find him. It's Olien. And okay, solstice, everybody. Tomorrow's a full moon. It's going to be a kick-ass full moon. We'll see you guys soon. And looking forward to seeing you all come into Ireland.